we're back with a section 11.2 Swyk number 1. Now we're getting into solving the rational equations. So how does that work? What does that look like? Well, so you'll notice in this problem that both sides have the same denominator. Now, you can talk about cross multiplication. I would not suggest it, and here's why. Cross multiplication tends to create extraneous solutions. You remember the ones that where you plug it back in and it doesn't work? So to avoid those, I would suggest that you use the idea of multiplying both sides by x plus 1. Because quite honestly, if you take a look at this thought process, what you're going to end up getting is something much simpler, right? And so you're going to be able to subtract 4 to the other side, and you're done with the question. Now, it says this right here, that your least favorite thing in the whole wide world. Check your solution. There will be some problems where you end up getting no solution. So over here you see in the green, I plugged it back into the original problem, 9 over 5 plus 1. Of course, you see I get 9 over 6 on this side and 9 over 6 on this side. So it checks out. 5 is a good solution for that question. Okay, I know you don't like that idea, but so I want to get the common denominator. That's what I'm all about, is this least common denominator. In this case, it's x. You can see I have a 2 over 1 right there, but that doesn't matter. You know, 1 times anything is still going to be the same value. So I'm multiplying everything by x. Now, one strategy we could do this. We could multiply the top and bottom of that fraction right there to get the correct denominator. Maybe that's a better idea, as you'll see in other problems. I don't know why I didn't do it here. But then when you multiply by x, beautiful things happen, right? Because all the denominators are gone, kind of like the last question. So that leaves me with 5 plus 2x equals 11. And then you can subtract the 5, divide by 2, and you're done. You get a 3. And just for kicks and giggles, plug it back in, and you'll see that you end up with the same thing, right? Because 2 is really the same thing as 6 over 3. And so now you can see that we have 11 thirds. So, checks out, 3 is the answer. Okay? Now, you'll notice in this one that I also did not get the common denominator first. Maybe, I'll talk you through it this way, and maybe you can decide which way you like. So, for instance, if I can figure out that the LCD is 6, the least common, maybe I just talk about multiplying by 6. So if I multiply 6 times y over 2, that's 6y over 2, that can reduce to 3y. In other words, 2 goes into 6 3 times, and then 3 times y. Well, then when you go to the next one, 3 goes into 6 twice, so that would be 2y. Don't forget that you're multiplying everything by 6. The other side would be 30. Sorry for yawning. Add the 3 and the 2y, and you get 5y, divide it, and you get 6. Check your solution. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Slide it over. So I plugged it back into the original. 6 over 2 plus 6 over 3. Does it equal 5? And 3 plus 2 does equal 5. Check. Good answer. Moving on. So, using that idea of multiplying by 7y, instead of getting common denominators and then doing it, it's either way. It really doesn't matter which way you like to do it. So the y's cancel when you multiply that, and that leaves you 7 times 6, which is 42. And then 7y times 2 over 7. The 7's cancel, leaving you 2y. And 7 times 2 over 7y gives me 2. And then you can bring that 42 over to the other side, giving you negative 40, divide by 2 and getting negative 20. Okay, then I plugged it back in just for fun, and it ended up working out. 6 over negative 20, 2 over 7. I got common denominators right, multiplied, you know, 7 times each of these, and negative 20 times each of these, and then added them together, and I ended up getting the same thing that I had on the other side, which was 2 over negative 140. Or negative 2 over positive 140. Whichever you'd like to say. But negative 20 is the final answer to that question. Notice that those denominators do not, very similar to question number 1 here, except a major difference. Sorry, I shouldn't say extremely similar. But you have these two equal fractions. That's the only, similar thing. The denominators are not the same. So, you can think about it as cross multiplication, or you can say to yourself, okay, because a lot of times when we get common denominators, we look for what is this denominator missing that the other one has. Well, if you multiply top and bottom by x minus 9, and what is this denominator missing that the other one has? It's missing an x plus 7. And then you could think about multiplying the whole thing by the common denominator, which pretty much just eliminates all that stuff. But isn't that the same thing as cross-multiplying? Yes. And you weren't going to create any new or unusual factors. So then you can distribute the 6, distribute the 2, and then you can start moving things around, right? Subtracting 2x, adding 54, dividing by 4. We get 17. And if I plug it back in, I get 6 over 24 on one side and 2 over 8. Both of those happen to equal a 1/4. Good answer. 17. And that is all of Swyk 1. Have a great day.